My heart weakens every day because the pain won't go away. Not physically, but in the mind too. I get doubts in all that I do. No one understands how overwhelming it is to me. No one can see through my body because no one knows the real me. And that is a poem that I wrote in 5th grade. I guess you could say that I was very emotionally aware at a very young age. I struggled with depression starting probably 4th grade, and so that poem is written 5th grade. Depression was like the first thing I noticed popping up. It was triggered by a lot of things, like insecurity, being one of the few black girls at my school, not being black enough for certain family members, being bullied by other girls, wanting to be accepted and often not being accepted. I think as of today, what I struggle with more so is anxiety. That part of my mental health journey kind of started when I was a senior in high school. I noticed it because it was like impacting my being as far as like my day-to-day activities, whether it was eating, sleeping, anxious attachment to friendships, to people. As I got older, like a couple years into my adulthood, I recognized like, whoa, like this is actually anxiety, which would also coexist with depression, because I feel like when you're anxious and you deal with that anxiety and it controls your day-to-day, I feel you often deal with hopelessness because it's impacting your life, you know? So I was dealing with both. You literally feel like you have no control of your physical being. Anxiety would make me antsy and make me, do things that I do impulsively, whether it's like shopping, being needy with people, trying to cope. Like I feel like I'm running constantly and I feel like I'm out of breath because I'm trying to like keep up with myself with anxiety, versus depression makes me feel empty. It makes me feel a lack of motivation. I feel like it's hard for some people to read me and how I respond to these things because they both make me completely different. One makes me want to just lay in bed all day and isolate myself. The other one makes me want to run to people so I won't deal with myself, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. These past few weeks, I've been really reflecting on like how much I've been through with anxiety, and it like overwhelms me because like I know that there's people that experience this and don't feel like they have hope, and I've been there. So for me to be on the other side and to like be able to walk in a hope and attain a hope like makes me feel grateful. I remember when I was struggling with anxiety so bad, like I felt like helpless and I felt like no one could see me and what I was going through. And so it's so weird because so many people deal with anxiety, but when you're in it, you don't feel seen. You feel crazy often. You feel alone, to the point where I remember the worst anxiety I experienced is when I lived in Texas. My mom, my comfort, my family, my hometown, everything was away from me. And so my anxiety turned into me being scared of everything. Me driving, me eating something because I would get nauseous, me trying new things. I was just so scared, and I'm still coming out of all of these fears. Like as of recently, I've been exploring, new places and new fashion styles and new hairstyles and new foods, because like for the longest time, anxiety had me so bound that I didn't want to explore anything new, although the things that I was living wasn't making me happy, So it's like that weird boundary, and I feel like that's a lot of depression too. Like you don't like where you are, but you settle for it because your anxiety makes you scared. Last year in October, there was times where I'm like, do I need to seek help? I've called hotlines, I've taught people, now I'm on medication, like it's no joke. And this is someone who fought past the hopelessness. I had to fight to stay hopeful because there's a lot of times and a lot of days where all felt the same, sometimes worse. I feel like there's so much more elements to it that people don't talk about, and this is really like dark, but like I can understand people not wanting to live because there was a lot of times I didn't want to. I'm thankful that I didn't give up, but do I have days where I'm freaking frustrated? Yes, because it's a journey. It's an ongoing journey, and I wish there was more voices, at least in my personal life, that not only helped me feel seen in what I was feeling, but like who walked with me through it, because I feel like it's the most isolating thing because it's in your body. I could be having an anxiety attack. Oftentimes I was having an anxiety attack with people who didn't even know. And that's the most isolating thing because you can't see what's going on inside. You're literally just autopilot like in life, and some people don't even see. Some of the closest people I know like didn't pick up like Malia's not doing okay. I know, like, it shows in my life. My room is a mess. My time management's a mess. I'm not sleeping. I'm up in the middle of the night. Like, I know, but some people don't pick that up, and it just makes me sad because I just wish everyone felt seen in their anxiety and depression and had, like, someone there to tell them, like, it's okay and it's worth it. It's worth it to keep going. But I understand why people don't feel like they can keep going because it's hard. And I remember, like, last year just being fed up with where I was at, why each year kept feeling darker and darker, to the point where like fall started triggering me because I was like, it gets worse during this time. I remember like just getting frustrated, like what the frick is going on, and I was drained. When I tell you, like, I felt like I was fighting for my life 24/7. Like I wouldn't wish that on anybody because you feel drained. Your body, I'm freaking 22 at the time, and I feel like I'm 70. My body felt like the physical state of a 70-year-old because I was carrying all that stress in my body. I wasn't eating. I was so fragile. Like, my emotional stability was bad. I would forget things, my memory, like, and people don't really talk about how much power our mind has over our body, and I think that's so scary when you feel like you have no control up here, because it's like I have the power to literally, physically, it often feels like kill myself, you know, slowly. Like your health, your whole being declines when you're not doing okay mentally. So I wish mental health was like more emphasized, because it really does impact your whole being. I journal a lot. Reading helps, and I think you gotta know yourself and your triggers, and if you're easily triggered, that's okay. I feel like you want less triggers, and your goal is to be less triggered or to have more, you know, self-discipline. But like, yo, know yourself and listen to that. And I think oftentimes in my process I've tried to like get to a certain place where I'm like, yeah, I can handle social media 7 days a week, or yeah, like I could, you know, watch TV all day and like not feel anxious, or I can watch this show that may trigger me. Like I feel like I was trying to make myself so healed to the point where I ignored the very things that were helping me have boundaries in my life, because triggers ultimately keep the boundaries, I feel like. For me, limiting screen time is huge. I feel most like myself when I am away from my phone, because I do struggle with people pleasing. I have to be aware of that. Instead of ignoring it or like disregarding it, I feel like I need to be aware of it. And so I know that like social media is a trigger for me because I care about people, and oftentimes I do care what they think. What has helped me even more so get through everything this past year was reconnecting back to Malia.
Not what we thought we needed. Don't give up.
For so long, I let those things be the forefront of my life. I let it rule in everything I did. I had to do things that made me feel like me. Whether it's buying flowers for myself, you know, going to Trader Joe's every week. I don't know what it is about Trader Joe's, but that's my place. That's my joint, and I be feeling myself whenever I go. I think you have to stay connected to yourself. The way you start your day and your day, I feel like that is so important to the way everything flows in between. Letting the messiness still exist. There's mornings where I'm like, this is a mess, girl. Try again tomorrow. I don't let that dictate my day, and I've learned to not let it be a season. I wish there was more resources as far as pointing people to the right direction, and there is, but I wish they were more accessible, considering I'm just now getting the help I felt like I needed at 22, you know. And there was moments in my life where I felt desperate, and I'm just now starting to see a change, you know. And this is someone seeking, and there's people who don't talk about it. There's people who don't talk about the stuff that they go through, but I feel like even as human beings, accepting people and their experience as human beings and having more conversations like this is a step. And even if you feel like you don't have the capacity, because that's very real, I get it, capacity to like tend to that person in the way you feel like they need, passing him on, you know, walking with them to help them find resources. Like, we all play a part, and that part may look different in different people's lives. We all can help people's journey.